for people who were taking the initiative to contact their creditors, we saw that most creditors were compliant with the CARES Act. That is awesome. That was not what we expected. We expected kind of a rewind of 2010 and 12, where homes went into foreclosure or short sales and things were inaccurately posted on their credit reports. So the good news is that if a consumer was timely enough to put their mortgage into forbearance or anything at all like that, any loan in forbearance, we have not seen very many glitches on reports where clients were all of a sudden shown and marked late when in fact they were not supposed to be. So that's excellent news. The CARES Act, though, did cause a little bit of confusion. The CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, walked in and said, oh boy, the credit bureaus are going to be understaffed and overwhelmed. And so what they did was they allowed the credit bureaus 45 days to investigate disputes. So in our world, when a client's referred to us, they have 20 to 25 derogatory late payments or collections or anything negative on their credit report. Our 100% role is that we dispute those items for deletion. That's what keeps credit repair industry alive, is that we've mastered the art of getting negative things removed legally. When the credit bureaus were given a 45-day period of time rather than 30, they ran with it. So immediately the language was so vague in the CFPB's remarks to the credit bureaus that they basically said 45 days or anything that could be considered your due diligence. So it took us a while to basically find the best practices, and our entire industry was scrambling to try to help be an advocate for the consumer, because if you had a client that was in escrow and something negative popped up at the last minute, it's always been the Fair Credit Reporting Act that saved the day. And with this extension, it actually caused a 90-day delay for emergencies. So that was very traumatic. We are still working with lenders locally to show them workarounds for this type of thing. But the biggest thing I want to tell you is that the dispute timelines are now longer. So when you refer someone to us, the minimum amount of time that they're going to need to be in my program is 90 days. I used to have people referred to me in escrow. Oh boy, they've already put in an offer here, this popped up, what can you do within the next 15 to 30 days? And we could, in many cases, be the life preserver. We are not able to do that right now. We're hoping that the CARES Act will now, we're seeing that it's going to be no longer extended, and hopefully that'll be the case again where we can rely on that 30-day time period. But just know that timelines have been extended. We also see a massive surge where the credit bureaus are encouraging consumers to dispute things online. When a consumer disputes a late payment or they see something on their credit report that pops up, the very first thing they're doing is submitting electronic disputes. Those disputes are causing mortgage lenders to fall out of escrow because they're saying, oh boy, now this is on there. My underwriter is not allowing us to move forward with this loan until that specific dispute has been deleted. So again, please tell your clients, do not get in and start messing with your credit. If you have issues that come up, refer them to somebody that knows what they're doing, especially your lender. I'm working really hard to make sure that all the messaging is very clear to the local lenders in town, because we're really seeing a lot of issues that are happening right now that didn't used to occur. Adding a consumer statement to a credit report is the worst thing you can do. And right now, if you Google credit repair or anything, they're encouraging, all credit bureaus are encouraging consumers to list a 100-word description of the hardship and why they disagree. When you do that, you're acknowledging the debt belongs to you, you're acknowledging it, you're just stating you disagree with it. Disagreeing with something on your credit profile does not increase your FICO scores. Nobody cares why you disagree. We got to get the item deleted. And the only way to get it deleted is to put the burden of proof onto the credit bureaus to comply with the state and federal laws in their reporting. So that has to be done legally, it has to be done efficiently, and you cannot give the credit bureaus your reasoning for why you were late. And so that is causing a major hardship with clients who are trying to dispute information with the credit bureaus. We are also seeing this is that time of year when people are preparing for their taxes. We are seeing that consumers are saying, okay, I'm back working, I'm no longer underemployed, and I'm going to take $1,500 and pay my credit card off or pay it down. We are seeing lenders like Capital One, some of the larger companies out there are doing what we call payment shock tactics. So essentially, if you make an aggressive, unusual payment on a credit card, they're decreasing credit limits to the amount in which you owe. So if you had a $4,000 credit limit and you apply $3,000 to that, they're saying, okay, great. Now they're dropping your limit to what you owe. And it looks like a maxed out trade line on your credit report, which takes 30% of your score away within 30 days.
Wow, that's terrible.
It's awful. And it's common. We saw it a lot, like I said, back in the 2010 days. So again, there's literally nothing you can do that makes common sense that helps your FICO score. So when you're talking to clients and they say, oh, I'm going to pay this off, I'm going to pay that off, pump the brakes, have them do a consultation. They're free. I'm telling you, it's a roadmap to disaster for them to take their own credit into their own hands. Google is not your best friend when it comes to credit, especially during these types of unprecedented times. So decreased credit limits, a big deal. Second of all, I tell my clients this all the time, and I'm really trying to get the messaging out to mortgage lenders. Do not encourage a client to pay off their car. It is obviously something that will help the DTI. It will help you qualify for a larger home price to have less debt. But when you pay off an installment loan, which is something like a car or student loans or anything like that, it closes the trade line. It closes the trade line and it's no longer positively reporting on your credit report. So installment loans are not treated the same way as revolving lines of credit. They do help the diversification section of your FICO score, but you cannot pay off any sort of installment loan at least 6 months prior to the home purchasing process. So we're seeing that, by the way, is affecting as much as 120 points. Wow. Paying off a car loan. That used to not be so significant. So I just want to mention all those payoff strategies are super important to mention. Now, during all of this COVID stuff that's gone on in our industry, FICO decided to present a brand new product called the FICO Ultra. The FICO Ultra was designed to encourage individuals with lower FICO scores to self-report their utilities, to self-report their banking information. And right now you'll see that with the Experian Boost product that is currently in the piloting stages from FICO. Right now they're the only credit bureau legally allowed to use this new FICO score. But what it does is it allows a consumer to go onto Experian, enter all their personal checking account information, enter all of their Verizon Wireless, all their utilities, and self-report those for an increase in score. Now, if you're aware of how the credit bureaus work and how they sell your information and all of that, it's never been, my coaching has never been to go ahead and give them even more information about you. But we are seeing that if in fact your buyers mid-FICO is Experian, which again, lenders use the middle FICO score. If the middle FICO score is 10 to 15 points shy of qualifying, the Experian Boost is an excellent way of accomplishing that. So there's a time and a place for everything. I don't recommend it until the very end. If in fact you need to pull it out as a last resort, great. But remember, you're telling people that credit challenges to give their banking information to the credit bureaus. Most people with credit challenges are typically have overdrawn accounts and all kinds of history, so it can backfire. So you want to make sure that that's done efficiently. I guess, being locked down, I just got married last year. So it was on February 15th, I was remarried. And then about 3 weeks later, we were in lockdown together for God only knows how much time. That was kind of fun. I say that, not really. It was interesting. It was like an episode of Big Brother. But when that happened for all of us, right, we started seeing that the posts on Facebook with the homeschool and the chaos and everybody losing their marbles with their spouse and all the people on Zoom calls. So it's no surprise that we're seeing a ton of people right now filing for divorce. So the divorce rate is up astronomically. In fact, this time last year, most of our business outside of real estate came from CPAs. It is undeniable that our family law referral partners are sending tons of individuals to us who are talking about in the process of filing for divorce, and they need the financial coaching on what's the best way to separate financially with the minimum amount of effect. That is a predictor, of course, of homes dividing. So when that happens, the real estate market is obviously affected. So we just want to mention to you that if that's the listing that's coming up for you, or if you have a family that's coming into that circumstance and they've said to you, look, I need to list my home, make sure that you're referring them to us for a free consultation so we can talk to them about the best way to amicably divide their credit cards and go through their finances together, because that's going to be a huge new market that's approaching. Life events such as new babies. We're seeing a new baby boomer generation come out of COVID. So it may be that you have buyers that have outgrown their current circumstance and are now going to be first-time buyers, or they just need a different situation for their home. We have a FICO seminar or class that's webinar based for young adults and or families that are in life transition. You can co-sponsor those with us where you would market them. We would be obviously presenting the FICO score information, but it's a great way for you to use your social media for a large audience, a very large audience of people that are going through life transitions, whether it's businesses that are now dissolving and they now need credit information, or they're upsizing or downsizing. Just getting in front of your clients and creating that value add is super important. And our curriculum has been once again vetted and approved by the Department of Justice for now 16 years. So it's credible information. It's a great way to for you to get in front of your people, and especially online or via Zoom. That being said, our office is still fully operational. We did have a short window of time where we were home, I think 60 days, but we are back operational. Our team has been here. We are back open to clients. If your clients are more comfortable doing Zoom consultations, obviously that's a possibility. We'll do them by phone, or they can come into our office, which we of course love the face-to-face. We've missed it. Let's see, consumer statements, we talked about that. We also talked about the credit bureau not going online and disputing information. Just to give you a general idea right now, what's standard, if your clients refer to me because they were sent over to the lender pulls credit and determines that a client has a 580, maybe there's recent issues on their credit report, keep in mind we only need to get them to a 640 to 680 to purchase. So even though that's not as overnight as it used to be, they're still looking at only about 4 to 6 months. So it's a great way, a great resource for you to refer them over to us. We co-brand the entire time. So when they're in our process, they're receiving educational emails with your contact information and ours. And it's just a great way to stay in front of a huge market. It's 1 in 4 people. So 1 in 4 people that your lenders pull credit on need some level of credit remediation. So I know that we're in your backyard. I know that I've worked with many of you, but we are considered nationally recognized. In fact, wanted to mention that we are still in the Credit Repair Bible. I don't know if you can see this. We were mentioned by John Harris, who is a credit guru. We are now available on Amazon, the Credit Repair Bible, and also Rapid Results. Those are national credit analysts who have recognized our company for being stellar at what we do. And so it's just an honor to be working with you guys. And of course, so grateful. I think that's my time, but I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Anybody have questions for Tiffany?
I have a quick question. So I have heard about reporting your rent. That's a new one that I've kind of seen come up. your rent payments. I don't know if you're familiar with that or if you've heard anything about that and what you think about it.
So it's about time is my answer. I think it's been unfortunate that renters haven't been able to do that. There's actually a program called rentreporters.com where you can actually pay money as a consumer to have your rent reported. I think it's wonderful. I think it's about time. Unfortunately, not all FICO scores use it. And most of your lenders are using the FICO 9 product still, and it isn't appearing on those reports yet. But it is a great way for young people in particular to build their FICO score when they're lacking trade line history. So I'm in favor of it. I'm excited that it's out there. I think it'll be more and more common. You remember too that the only time traditionally in a FICO score report that rent's reported is if you break a lease. So it's always a negative remark rather than something positive. So we're starting to see that consumers are using it. We're just not seeing it on the mortgage FICO pool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that something that the consumer themselves reports, or they go in and they put it in themselves, kind of like you were saying, the utilities?
Yes, yes, yep.
Cool. Any other questions? Sometimes I always wait just to see how long it takes them to unclick.
And you guys know you can even email, call, anytime I'm available. You don't have to be a client, or, if you've never referred to me, you can call and just ask basic questions. We just want to be your go-to resource for all things credit.
I appreciate you coming today, Tiffany. You always have been one who's kept us up to speed on all the credit issues. And I know, we have a couple of agents, one in particular that's not on here today, that's referred you business and has been very grateful for your help. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you very much.
Okay, you have a great day.
Bye, you too.
All right, I don't have any other formal announcements, but I do want to say we did have book club a couple of weeks ago, and we did pick a new book. For those of you who didn't see the email, it is, oh my gosh, and I forgot all of a sudden, Where the Crawdads Sing. We did that book because it had been mentioned multiple times in the book club, but no one ever said, okay, we're doing this one book. So Where the Crawdad Sings is what we're on right now. If you want to download it, it is by Delia Owens. And I've already listened to it. It was a great book, I thought. So any other announcements from anybody else today? Okay, everybody, I'm here if you need me. I am going to be on vacation on Monday, but you guys feel free to reach out to me. I'm here the rest of this week by phone, email, live, whatever you need. Hope you have a wonderful week.